far, and we're excited for this last panel. So this panel is just entitled Community Support, and it's really meant to encompass just the, what it sounds like, community support that's out there in the community in Tarrant County that we want people to be aware of and to give voice to some of those organizations so they can explain the awesome work that they're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our panelists. Roger Calderon is there on the end, on the far side from me. Pronouns he, him. Roger is the president of Trinity Pride Fort Worth, where he leads year-round efforts to celebrate and support the city's LGBTQ plus community. He's been on the Trinity Pride Board since 2020 and recently moved the Pride Festival to its new home on South Main Street. A former events producer for the LGBTQ Community Center and the Empire State Pride Agenda in New York, Roger is currently the chapter manager for DIFA, which is the Design Industries Foundation Fighting AIDS in Dallas. Welcome, Roger. Candace Sublett is seated next to him. Candace is a board member at Fence Place, pronouns she, her. Previously, Candace served for 2 years or so? 3 years as the executive director of the Tarrant County Democratic Party. So, welcome, Candace.
Thank you.
Bertie Gardner. Bertie is there on the end, pronouns they, them. Bertie is a dedicated advocate and community leader, serving as a program director at LGBTQ Saves, an organization dedicated to providing safe and brave spaces for social and personal development of LGBTQ plus youth. Welcome, Bertie. And finally, closest to me, we have Jane Rogers, pronoun she, her. Jane is the co-chair of the Community Engagement Committee for the Coalition for Aging LGBT of Tarrant County. Jane served on the AIDS Advisory Board and is a South Central District AIDS Coordinator for the University Fellowship of Metropolitan Community Churches during the many years of the AIDS crisis. She is a member of Celebration Community Church, serves on the Equity and Inclusion Committees in the LGBTQ plus Action team. Welcome. So for this panel, we were going to do it a little bit differently because they're all different organizations. So I kind of want to just give everyone an opportunity to explain their organization, what they do, how it interacts with the community, and if you can just take a couple minutes to do that. So we can start with Roger at the end, if that's okay.
Oh, great. Hi, everyone. Yes, my name is Roger Calderon. I'm the president of Trinity Pride. So, Nathan, you said a little bit about the organization and what we do for the community, right? Okay, yeah. Cool. I have to wrap this in my head a couple of times, so I'll repeat it in my head a couple of times. So Trinity Pride, well, we put together the Pride Festival here in Fort Worth, and at least this iteration of this Pride organization in Fort Worth has been here since 2019, which was founded by Tyler Long, who is a former Fort Worth resident, now lives in Chicago. He moved last summer, who was a school teacher, is a school teacher, who was a school teacher here in the Fort Worth Independent School District. And in between the previous Pride organization and this one, there was he felt that there was not a celebration that was befitting of all of Fort Worth that took into account not just what could be something that's primarily geared to gay men, but that's something that could be geared to the whole community and take that in. So he was the president since 2019. I took over this past year, and I wanted to continue that as well. But what I also wanted to do is I wanted to really pull in the queer-owned and allied businesses of the Near South Side. Pride has been in the Near South Side. The Near South Side has a reputation of being the queer neighborhood of Fort Worth. I was just on a focus group a couple of years ago, and someone called the Near South Side the little blue dot in a sea of red. But I wanted to make sure that this festival really took in this entire community, which is why we moved into South Main. But the challenge has been trying to figure out what your organization does outside of just being the organization that puts on the Pride Festival every June. And that is a challenge that every Pride organization is facing right now at this particular moment in time. What we've also done is, the past several years, we've had a directory of, again, queer-owned and allied businesses and resources on our website. So if people needed to find a queer doctor or just something that, a service that they felt safe as a queer person here in Fort Worth, that's what we've been doing on that as well. And it's just finding out what we as an organization can also provide to our community outside of the festival, which in itself takes, anyone that does events, we know that this takes a lot of time to put together, but just expanded beyond that, and what is the natural extension of what that could be. And that's just a little bit about what Trinity Pride does.
Okay, so when I think about Finn's Place, I think about a safe space. And not just for those who are non-gender conforming, but for me who is a lesbian. And so I know I can go to Finn's Place and be amongst other people who probably have some of the same concerns that I have, but it goes further than what my eyes and other people's eyes can see. Let me just throw out one thing. I do identify as she, her, hers, but I accept all pronouns because people just look at you and they never know what's going on. So I just don't want to get offended like, oh, I'm sorry, no, it doesn't matter, let's just keep going. But in Finn's Place, since I've been involved with Finn's Place, and I had to take some personal time off in these last few months, but what I've seen is young people, because I'm 44, will be 44 in 2 weeks, young people, I know, right? Virgo in the house. Young people they need somewhere safe. And so I think one of the questions we're going to answer later will actually speak towards the safety that Finn's Place provides. And I also have some events here that I'm going to name and announce, but I'll do that later. I don't want to take up the 2 minutes. But there are activities that go on. But I think we had a Pride event going on separate because some people felt concerned about being in the space and not being understood. I have a cousin who is also a lesbian like me, and as soon as I start saying the LGBTQs and the they and the thems and all that, and I was saying it this morning, and she's like, I just can't get down with all that. And I'm like, I don't care what you can get down with, who I'm talking about is a they. It's not two people, it's one person, and I'm gonna respect what it is they're doing. And so I, again, as a lesbian, come to Finn's Place to be a support, to provide more safety. I necessarily may not enjoy the activities that are going on, but any and everybody that I meet, like I was in, where was I coming from? I don't know where I was coming from, but I had one of the little QR codes, and I walked up to this lady, and I gave her the QR code and said, sis, I see you, and walked away at an airport in I don't even know, it was not anywhere in Texas. And so I don't know how effective that was, but it just came down to, like, even at the state capitol with this bathroom ban, I don't understand, because the people that check out their food, if they paid attention, are also trans, but they don't pay attention to those types of things. And so I want to continue to do what I can to make it a safe space, because again, I'll talk about it later with my question as to why it's a deeper thing for me personally. But thank you.
Okay, cool, I can't hear myself. Hi, so I'm Bertie, I'm the program director for LGBTQ Saves. I use they, them pronouns, and I've been with the org for the last 8 years. So yay! But we were originally founded in 2010 as a way to combat LGBTQ youth suicide. So we are a community group that provides support to our kids ages 12 to 24, sometimes younger, sometimes older, because I can't let them go when they age out of the program. But a lot of what we do, again, is providing that social support for youth. We are a community where a kid can come in and they know that they are loved. They may not be fully understood, but we try really hard. It's been amazing to watch our kids come with new terminology for their sexual identities, new terminology for their gender identities, and to know that this is a spot where we don't really care what other people think. We're gonna work with what you are and affirm that in any way possible. And we do that 365 days a year. We're not just active in June. We have different community events throughout the year, like prom, our family picnic, our resource festival that's coming up, and even things through the holidays, which can be some of the hardest times for our family. Lisa, am I missing anything?
No, I think you've gotten
Cool.
the family dinners.
Yes, and the family dinners. So we do a lot to support queer youth and their families here in Fort Worth, and we're not going anywhere. We're celebrating our 15th birthday this year. Yeah, and I hope to see you all September 27th.
Thank you. Okay, I'm Jane Rogers, and I am the co-chair of the Coalition for Aging for LGBT. Our mission is to improve and protect the quality of life for older LGBTQ adults in North Texas. The Coalition for Aging started about 9 years ago, and it has been in Tarrant County for the last 8 years. We started our 8th year here. It's hard to believe that it's been 8 years, but it has. It's gone by pretty fast. I want to give a shout out to our committee. Not everyone's here today, but we have 4 members of our committee, John Corbus, Rhonda Grundy, and L.A. Lewis, and myself here today. And Rhonda is our token ally on our committee, and we don't call her that, we call her Rhonda. So anyway, she is just wonderful, and she says she doesn't do anything, but she does everything, and she is everything to us. So thank you, Rhonda. We also have a number of other committee members. All but one has been with us for 8 years, and that is really big in committee work. We also have 4 emeritus members. Kathy Bowser started the coalition in Tarrant County. Fluffy Jones, who is her spouse, Michael Bledsoe, and Barbara Britton. And I want to point out that these emeritus members, since we are the Coalition for Aging, they were retired and went into the volunteer work, and now they have retired from the volunteer work, so we made them emeritus members. So we'll say that. When we first started, I remember Kathy Bowser called me and said that she wanted me to come to a meeting. We had a Coalition for Aging LGBT conference here in Tarrant County that got us started. And she wanted me to come to a committee, be on a committee for the Social Engagement Committee. And I said, but I signed up for the healthcare and the legal committees, which was my background. And she said, no, I need for you to come to this. And nobody says no to Kathy Bowser, so I went. And here I am 8 years later and in charge of the thing. I do have a co-chair, Beth Jackson, who couldn't be with us today. So we thought, well, what do we do? And we didn't know what to do, so we just said, well, everybody eats lunch. Let's do lunch. So here 8 years later, we have let's do lunch and let's do dinner. We do a food event every week, and it is at some restaurant. And we don't take RSVPs. We just announce where we're going to be when, and let people come to us. And so we've been doing that unless we go to Luby's on a Thursday night, and so in November it usually catches Thanksgiving, so we don't go on Thanksgiving because everybody goes to Luby's on Thanksgiving and it's terribly crowded. And so we also have one of our tokens in our food events and everything else is our handout bags. And we have a handout bag at every event with candy, and it has to be a York mint patty because I started buying those. And I do want to say that be careful what you buy in the beginning, because grown men whine if they don't get their York mint patties, and they have gone up in price, so I take donations of York mint patty packets. You know, we have to do something, we're retired anyways. So we always have something called Save the Date. We have a community events on that, and we do have some of those packets here today if you'd like to pick one up. We have Money Matters and Financial Security, To Your Good Health, and Advocacy. And I have tried, and I think I passed one of these out to everybody. We have a brand new community resource guide that includes a lot of things that we have handed out before, and I thought I really want to pull this together. There are some, it tells you when our lunches and dinners are, and also has some information on just the Money Matters, the Medicare, and I understand there's some questions coming down the pike here about some of the Medicare issues. So that's who we are and what we do in Tarrant County.
Awesome, thank you. My mic is dead again, so I'll just speak loudly. Okay, so first question is to Roger. So this question is, how are you helping to build and strengthen LGBTQ plus community in Fort Worth, and how can people be involved in that work?
Sure. So, at the core of what Trinity Pride does, just, the reason that Pride Festival exists is because our mission is to create safe spaces where people can be visible, supported, connected, and most importantly, safe. Throughout the year, and we're right now in that process. We took July off, but we're in that process of outside of the Pride Festival. What does that look like? What kind of events are we doing in terms of being able to meet that mission, create safe spaces? We have parents that are on our board, and so we are looking into creating monthly LGBTQ queer family playdates, where queer families could come together and for like 2 hours be able to exist in a space where they can be together and with other queer families and learn from each other, children to play together. Just, it's creating community and creating that kind of safe space. We work a lot with our local organizations promoting their programs and their spaces, sometimes even participating in them as well. And it takes a lot to go out into the community and vet these organizations and services that go into our directory as well. So we get submissions all the time, and then we do our own due diligence to make sure that they do, it is something that we feel comfortable recommending to our community here. How you can be involved is volunteer at the festival, because the festivals, who all went this year? Who all went in June? Great.
It's so hot.
You could be there for 3 hours. I'm there all day with my liquid IV and my water and my ice packs running down. No, it's not sweat. Well, partly it's sweat, but it's also ice that is like down my back. That festival's going to be bigger next year.
It's Pride in December.
You know what? They should have thrown that break in November. But equality comes when it comes. So volunteer, because there are so many things that we wanted to do that we could not do because we felt that we needed to show that we can do this on South Main Street. And additionally to that, and not just to Trinity Pride, but to all of the other organizations that have represented here today, that are not here, that are clearing these donations, donate. We are now at a point where we have seen corporations who have absolutely been okay putting their name on pride events, on events for queer organizations. Once the tide turned, they very quickly withdrew their support. So a lot of us, a lot of pride organizations around the country have to get used to what it's like doing this again at a community level. And that is your help, whether it's $5, $500, that goes a long way to all of your queer organizations in your community. And show up, like there's power in numbers, and it is going to take every single one of us in whatever capacity we can to keep our community afloat. It can get so daunting thinking about what's happening over here, out there. What we can do in our community will reverberate throughout. So that is how you can be involved. But if I'm going to get Trinity Pride specific again, volunteering, but also we'll be putting out in September a call for steering committee members, for people who want to be on our committee to help realize what we have in mind for June. Because someone asked me when I started planning for Pride 2026, and I said April 2025.
That's smart.
There's no downtime. We have to get our committees in place, our volunteers in place, our team leaders in place, our fundraising in place. And then the actual act of carrying out that plan, the execution of that festival. Because it starts before the current year Pride actually begins on event date. So that's how you can.
So just for a little context too, for just what Roger's talking about. So in addition to Trinity Pride, the Help Center does Arlington Pride. And that's very depressing and it's bleak, and we can say the same thing with the corporate sponsorships you see falling off with Arlington. But the thing that's not bleak about it is we did 16,000 plus people in Arlington this year. We did 10,000 last year, and we did like 6,000 or 8,000 the year before. And I know Trinity Pride has been exploding in attendance too. So the people are saying they want to go, and that this is important, and that they're with us. So I know it's like kind of bad news all over the place, but like I take inspiration from that. So I just wanted to kind of reiterate what.
And I will say, the Help Center is also a sponsor of Trinity Pride, but I also used to work here back in the day. So I talked to Cody and Austin who helped. So when we commiserate about all of that corporate financial support that is gone out, but all of us will say that there would be no Trinity Pride this year without the small donations, and I think you can say this comfortably for Arlington Pride, without the small donations from our community members. There will not be Trinity Pride without the additional affirming, open faith congregations that stepped up in the place of that. We lost our presenting sponsor, which is also a sponsor of Arlington Pride. We also we lost about $40,000 worth of sponsorship money, which for a small festival like ours really makes a huge difference. And we were able to pull off this year because of the community and because of people who either gave or those businesses on South Main that did little fundraisers leading up to Trinity Pride to be able to help fill the gap. Also, I cut a lot of expenses, which is that's kind of the thing that you have to do when you have to figure out how you're going to do this. But we would not have been able to do that without the community giving and the community figuring out inventive ways to help fund their own Pride organization, Pride event.
And just to not beat a dead horse, but the corporate sponsors that you do still see on our banners for these events, be aware of and in whatever way, say thank you, because they're standing up to the tide in their own way, and they're still putting their name on the banner for these events, and there's something to be said for that. So, okay, so the next question is to Candace and Bertie. So to get in whatever order y'all would like. What are the biggest issues you see facing the LGBTQ plus youth right now, and how can we best, we as a community, how can we best support?
I'm gonna say right now, and probably when all of y'all, were younger, the number one issue with youth is family. I am so glad to hear you say family play dates, because if I had seen someone who was in a same-sex relationship when I was younger, I probably would have done a lot of things differently. I have a family member who is 6 years old. I figured it out at about 3. His mother made it clear to me his father is not accepting of it. So any and everything that I do, baby's gonna be coming to me in summer, so you're gonna see him at Trinity Pride eventually, in about probably 8, 9 years, if my nephew lets him come and hang out with me. But we went to Arlington Pride 2 years ago, and they had all of this stuff, and of course my nephew wouldn't let them keep it, or whatever the case may be. And so we usually say, especially as black people, well, in our culture, blah, blah, blah. No, in every culture, especially if you went to church or you had some type of religious whatever, you could not say things. You could not be a certain way. I don't know how my parents missed me all these years. Like, I just don't. I don't. Like, they put me in dresses, but I look like a linebacker. Like, come on now. Like, that's just what it is. And so trying to understand family as a whole. I met a young lady over at Jackie O's, and I was going through whatever I was going through, and so she was always there. And I'm like, why do you come in here all the time? She's here for a job. Her family is conservative. She's married. Her wife is at home with the dogs. So every day after she gets off work, she goes to Jackie O's and sits there because she can't sit in the house with her conservative aunt and uncle. So what youth and probably everybody else, it's the family. And so for those whose families are not accepting, like, that just breaks my heart. And so my nephew, he had on my mother has long dreads. And so he had her bonnet on, and it's a long dread. Now I see him shaking it, and they was like, no, he's doing his waves. And I looked at them like, really, y'all? I said, so what did I do? I got on the phone and I said, shake that ponytail, because I know it's a ponytail. You walk around with this on your head, oh, he's been a superhero. Really? Really? Because he was just twerking in there with me. So he's a superhero? Oh, okay. Well, then I'm going to still tell you to throw your ponytail. I'm going to still tell you these affirming things, because I understand that I could not say these things. I had gay friends, and they looked at me like, by the time I was 30, it was like, you finally came out? Finally? Yeah, because my family, and I thought they weren't going to be accepting. My parents are like the greatest. I just can't believe that they just like, whatever. But for me, the youth is the family. If you can't be who you are when you're younger, if you can't be accepted, and again, these play dates are going to make a big impact on our community. I wish I could get my baby into that. And he's in North Carolina, so like I said, I'm gonna have to just steal him in the summer and bring him the stuff and then take him back so he can live his best life. So, family.
Can you say the question again?
Yeah, it was, what are the biggest issues you see facing LGBTQ plus youth, and how can we best support them?
So I do agree, social acceptance is a big thing facing our youth right now. I also can't ignore the fact that Texas politics is tightening the noose around so many of our youth's necks right now. Even according to the Trevor Project, 90% of people who answered the 2024 survey were youth saying that they were affected by political things happening in their states. And so right now what we're facing is a multitude of things, but one of the bigger things that has been on my mind has been the kids going back to school, where the teachers are no longer allowed to respect them and are in many cases being encouraged to be disrespectful and less affirming to their kids, which is very heartbreaking when a lot of our kids are going back to school and being dead named, being misgendered, being made to feel like they don't matter because they don't fit somebody's little box that they had in mind for them. And so just seeing that, seeing their right to healthcare being stripped from them, they don't get a decision in where it is happening to them, they don't have the autonomy that they need in order to grow up and actually be people, where we see so many of our families utilizing services like the North Texas Transportation Network to leave the state of Texas and just not be a part of our communities anymore. So I would say like the political nature is really what's affecting our youth right now, because it is making it harder for us to protect them and to support them when it's all a matter of not having a gay-straight alliance allowed in the schools anymore, not having those spaces where they know that they can go and talk to somebody and know that they are heard, when there's just so many more things where we're really having to think about how are we serving queer youth in ways that are both legal, but also ways that actually serve the youth and their families. I don't know, let's see. But I think a lot of what we need to do, like as allies for queer youth, is of course fight back against that any way that we can. I have been kind of happy to hear from a lot of teachers that are just kind of basically saying, fuck that. That are continuing to fight for their kids and be that safe spot in school. Because so often, especially if a kid does not have an affirming family, school is the safe spot. And so to continually see the Texas government strip away these places where the kids can be themselves is really heartbreaking. And I know it is affecting our kids on such a deep level. But anyway, as allies, I think a lot of what we can do is what we can do for any queer organization. Volunteer. LGBTQ Saves for the last 15 years has not run on any grant funding. It has run on the generosity of our community. So the person who gives $5 each month really does make a difference in being able to provide snacks at our weekly meetings. The few corporate organizations that have stayed strong with queer rights have made it so we can have prom for the kids in March. And again, like Roger was saying, the open faith communities are a big reason we were actually able to host our Pride picnic this year. So volunteering, donating money is always a big thing. Showing up for the kids any way that you can. I know that it's the weirdest things that the kids like, and I know I see Lisa in the crowd, she's been with us for 15 years, the OG volunteer. But it's even the little things of, you know, asking about their day, asking about their little hyperfixations that they're working on. One of my kids loves sharks. And I will sit and I will listen to them talk about their favorite shark, which I think is like a lemon shark or something like that. I don't know, I have learned so much about the animal kingdom. But it's making sure that you're showing up and making sure that you're being consistent when you are showing up. I know that for Saves, to volunteer with us and to work with our kids, we actually have a mandated 6-month period that you have to volunteer with us, because we don't want you showing up just one time and ducking out. I honestly can't tell you how devastating that is to a kid who thinks they have found someone that they can lean on, a trusted adult, someone who will listen to them, and then to have them disappear for whatever reasons. So yeah, volunteering and writing your legislative member. I know that this year, for me personally, it has felt like I am just addressing the air when it comes to talking to my legislative representatives about the bathroom bans, about the K through 12 legislation going through and things like that. But we have to keep doing it. If anything, to show that our community still cares, because what they're really trying to do is wear us out, make us feel like our voices don't count, and just make sure we kind of disappear, and we're not gonna do that. So
there's questions to Jane. What what are the biggest issues facing LGBTQ plus elders right now, and how can we best support this given the context of some of the policy things that have happened, Medicaid cuts, threats to Social Security? Obviously, that's all encompassing, but particularly for the LGBTQ plus community, how do you see that?
Okay. Well, some of these things, we could have done an all-day seminar, and there are all-day seminars on just these topics. So, kind of knowing that this question was coming, I made some notes. I would say, first of all, that one of the things that our committee has tried to do is just to be have an informed and educated crowd that shows up. And we do handle these topics, some of them just rotating through our handouts, and other things we make announcements, and people tell us different things at our lunches and dinners. I chose about 3 or 4 things. First of all, I think the things that most impact us are isolation, specifically for the older generation who may not have had the opportunities to acknowledge themselves or be acknowledged, and sometimes until they were seniors.
Yeah.
So, not even in their workplaces, so, remember it was a different time. I was born in 1946, and, so, this is kind of, several generations back. There's only one generation living ahead of mine. I was born in 1946, which was the first year of the baby boomers. So I don't know how this happened, but here I am. Anyway, so isolation, I believe, just from not being out with family and in the community or at work. Other things are income, health care, and loss of family, friends, and spouses. I think this is a big thing, because we are at very different ages, but you kind of get to an age where your own children are dying, your friends are dying, your parents are dying, and for some of us, I know in our church we have a somewhat of an older group, and we have people who are taking care of their mothers and grandmothers, because people are living longer. So we talk about the sandwich generation, and that can be 3 sandwiches, for some people. So there's that. One of the things with isolation and loss, in the very beginning, one of the first events that we held, I decided that we needed a theme song, so I chose the one from Cheers, the TV show. And because some of the words, it starts out, sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. So that kind of says the theme that, we try to, we know one another. We try to be sure that we keep up with one another. Almost every event that we go to, if we haven't seen someone in a couple of, months, we usually know, somebody in the group usually knows that they're okay, or they had surgery, or, where they are and have seen them. And so that is important sometimes, more important, of knowing where people are and knowing that people are gonna know where you are, than actually, putting eyeballs on one another. So that's very important, that especially if we haven't seen someone, that we find out about them, kind of like at church, where is so-and-so, we haven't seen them in a while. Now, the rest of this, we could spend a great deal of time on. Let's talk about income for a minute. This year, Social Security turns 90 years old. It was this month on August 14th, it turns 90 years old. Social Security is one of the most successful programs, the most successful of the federal government. Social Security has never missed a payment to a recipient in all these years. But now people of all ages are worried due to the Trump administration's DOGE program that has reduced staff, lengthened callback to Social Security. You can barely get them to answer the phone, and sometimes most of the time you get a recording, and it can be up to 2 weeks before they call you back. You absolutely cannot walk into a Social Security office and be seen. 2 or 3 months ago, you could go down, to Alta Mesa if you wanted to go to Social Security and walk in, and I've done that for myself and with one other person. And if you were willing, you didn't have an appointment, you were willing to sit there a couple of hours, somebody would see you and see what you're about, and what your issue is. That is no more. And sometimes it can take several months to get an appointment at a Social Security office. They also have fixed the website where you almost have to have, you absolutely have to have knowledge of computers and your way through a computer system in order to get your question answered. And sometimes people in the senior community need assistance from someone else to get a simple question answered. So it really is a disservice to the community. So that's the income piece. Social Security trust funds are due to have shortfalls in the next decade. That's what the wording that they use, but the truth of the matter is anywhere from 10 months to 2034, where we could see shortfalls in certain aspects of the Social Security system payouts. And so this kind of leads into the Congress making attempts to resolve these issues. And that's always problematic when Congress tries to resolve an issue. And so there's been a great deal of discussion about privatization, which is a whole other discussion.
Jane, can we maybe stop there? Because
Sure.
we've only just got a couple minutes, so
Okay.
I'd like to kind of rapid fire a couple questions that
All right,
came in for the
that would be
panel,
great.
so
Thank you.
So this one was specifically, I think, directed to Bertie. Any resources for teachers who want to be affirming but might fear retaliation or disciplinary action, given the legislation?
So as far as resources for educators, I know that I'm currently waiting on some more tidbits coming from ACLU and Lambda Legal before feeling comfortable putting anyone at risk for their jobs here in the state of Texas. But we do have a coalition that has a group chat going on with different members from different politically active groups like Equality Texas, ACLU, Lambda Legal, that are continuously talking about these issues. So hopefully we will see some more guidance for affirming educators here shortly.
Okay, thank you. And then this one I'll ask Roger and Candace, and I think we can probably end on this. But there's actually a few questions. Very interested in what role allies can play in supporting y'all's organizations, and just sort of where allies fit into the puzzle here.
Sure. Generally, I think speaking, what I have been telling people, specifically in this point in our community, in our culture, in this country's history, is be the hero that you wish you had growing up, and whatever that looks like to you, look out for those organizations. If your interest is wanting to help homeless youth, there are organizations here that can do that. If your interests lie in making sure that our seniors have the support that they need, speak to Jane, be that person that helps someone on the computer. In addition to everything I do, I am my parents' caretakers, and I have to navigate all that as well. Without sounding bleak, the cavalry isn't coming. You're the cavalry. Find that. I'm not saying, and I'm not saying that you have to be the the loudest activist that you can be, but find that little thing that you can do in your own community to be the hero that you wish that you had. Or to meet the question, what would I do in these unprecedented times? And do that. And you know, and come and help me put on Trinity Pride.
I would say for Finn's Place, within our community, our LGBTQ community, because we think of allies outside of that, but within it, be an ally to the trans community. Understand what they may, well no, because we don't understand what they may go through. Be mindful of that. And so that's why Finn's Place is there, for that safe space. But again, let me just say, I go to Finn's Place as a lesbian because I was sitting in a meeting and somebody had their purse on the floor. Now, for most women, especially black women, you don't do that. You put your purse on the back of the seat, you're gonna go put it over on the table over there. And so it just made me mindful of, this is information that is not being passed on. That's simple. But if you don't know that, you just don't know. So making sure something simple like a purse clip, like I've been trying to get purse clips up there forever, that's just on me. But something as simple as that, that's an ally. And so I think, especially for Finn's Place, make sure, and I thank you, LGBTQ Saves, because there is a wellness breathwork event on Thursday, right? Yes. So understanding that trans, non-gender affirming, these just, thank you, because I know the mission and it just got switched all around. But however the case, be an ally within the community. Understand that the boys always running. Just like the cavalry ain't coming, the boys running. And so I'm encouraging other lesbians to say, hey, step up into these roles. I will say Finn's Place is nonpartisan, but I am not. I'm be honest with you, I am not. I'm blue to the day I die. I'm gonna fight for everybody's issue, even if I don't even understand the issue, because I understand the importance of other people being different than I. I know I was born black, so I started at a way beyond whatever, and some people can pass. I can't pass. That's why I said I don't understand how my parents did not know. Because again, I look like a linebacker in a dress. But just be mindful of the community, the people within the community that we can be more allies to. I'm gonna throw out a couple of things, and I know we gotta go. So Finn's Place does crochet group Saturdays at 2 p.m. We do writing groups Sundays at 3 p.m. There will be an event, back to school event, on Saturday, 8/23 from 4 to 8. Eamon Carter is coming to do keychains, and then a tabletop role playing on 8/28, the day before my birthday. So make sure y'all remember the day before my birthday to go see Finn's Place. But as well, you can be an ally. That $5 they talked about, be an ally. We have somebody that works for us that needs to get paid and spends a lot of time and energy on running around, and we sit in the meeting and we just do whatever, and then they go and do what they need to do. So that's another way to be an ally. Like, to me, it's just important to understand within the community, that's what it has to be. I went to a training in Houston in May, and my name tag said all pronouns. Everybody in there had never been in an LGBTQ candidate campaign training where it was only us. And by like day 1.5, we were like, wait a minute, it's just us in here. And it's like, yes. And so a lot of the young men came up to me and was like, all pronouns? Yeah, because half the time they think I'm a boy in the gas station, so I just accept whatever. And so being mindful of saying all pronouns, hopefully they take that to Kentucky. Hopefully they take that to Oregon. But again, within the space, like I've just noticed we come together on LGBTQ things, but we're not as allied as we could be. And so that's why I chose, because again, I'm a girl, so I don't run nothing in this space. But I do what I can to make sure those who may have it harder than me can get to where they need to be so we can be on the same playing field. Sorry, Nathan.
All right, I'm gonna see if Rachel and Sherry wanna come back up and do our closing remarks. And on behalf of me and Help Center, thank you very much. But don't go anywhere.
Thank you so much, panel. I'll steal a microphone. We could have had like 8 more folks on on all of these panels, honestly. But there actually are a few folks here today that we wanted to give just like a minute each just to quickly plug your organization. So we have members from PFLAG here. Ruby, if you want to just briefly talk about what PFLAG does and how folks can get involved, we'd love to.
I'm gonna actually let Lisa.
Yeah.
Lisa is our new president.
Oh, okay. So Fort Worth PFLAG, we have regular monthly meetings, we have unofficial and official meetings, and we have guest speakers come from all these different organizations have come and spoken to and we work with other organizations. We're here to support and provide advocacy to everyone who's part of the community. Yeah, we're primarily families, but we support everyone. We have regular members who are part of the community as well as allies. And we're just here to help everyone. Back years ago, it was mostly lesbian and gay people we were supporting in the last, I don't know, say 5 or 10 years. Most of the parents and the families that are coming, they have trans youth.
Real issues.
Yeah.
Real bad.
So, but we do work like I forget her name now, I have to look at the name, but Kelly, not Kelly, but anyway, Shelley was saying that we work with Lambda Legal, we work with other organizations, and we're really working hard to expand our programs right now and get out in the community even more so than we have. But we've been around for 30 plus years now.
Right.
So we've been in the community. A lot of people don't know about us, but we are here and we're still going strong.
And what does PFLAG stand for?
Well, it doesn't stand for anything anymore, but it used to stand for Parents and Families of Lesbians and Gays, but now it's just PFLAG. And I'll have Ruby add.
Real quickly, I wanted to let y'all know that we have several social engagements throughout the month besides our meeting. So on the second Wednesday of every month, and this is all on our website too, we meet at Shaw's, just a casual conversation and confab right there at Shaw's. Everyone's invited. We just keep adding chairs and tables around. Then on the fourth Monday every month, and we've been doing this almost 30 years, is we feed at Samaritan House. So we've been doing that long. Also, on the last Sunday of every month at 3 o'clock, I knew you'd forget this. We have a trans support group. Lisa and Mark that were here earlier, Lisa does that. She's been doing it for about 4 years now. And it's by Zoom. They have people can come on, their kids can come on from throughout the United States, and they do. Wow. Sherry knows all about that because her kids have all been on there. And it's a wonderful support group, and it's something that's very needed because a lot of people, when their kids first come out as trans, or there are sometimes grandparents that are just trying to figure things out, it's a way they don't have to go to a meeting, because a lot of times they just don't want to get around people right now. They're trying to think through things. And a Zoom is perfect. It's perfect, you know? So anyway, we're here for all of y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Cynthia from North Texas Transportation Network is here as well.
Hi, my name is Cynthia, for answer to her. I'm actually the mother of a beautiful trans daughter who's 22, almost 22, and living her best life. She was able to get her health care when she turned 17. And so when SB 14 went into effect, and I heard that the North Texas Transportation Network was going to be forming, Pastor Katie at Calderon Church asked me to come on as executive director. And so what we do is we provide travel and relocation grants for any North Texas family that is seeking out-of-state health care for their trans and gender expansive youth. So to date, I think we've done about 8 relocation grants as of January of this year. And I think we just filled like our 66th or 67th travel grant. So we've been able to be able to give a little bit of hope.
Thank you so much. Jessica with Transform 1012. Yes.
Actually, I'm gonna let Greg speak.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Jessica. I'll come around so you're all twisted, I'm sorry. And thank you, Bertie. We've got breathwork coming up. That's amazing. So let's all do it now. 1, 2, 3, breathe in. A lot of discussions today, a lot of going on, so we all need to heal. So let's do heal through the breathing. Apologies for the script, sometimes I do get anxious. I do have a Scottish accent, you will hear it coming out, so that's the answer to your first question. My name is Greg Robertson, he, him, and I'm honored to share a little bit today about Transform 1012 North Main Street. This project is rooted in truth, justice, and transformation. We are reclaiming a building in Fort Worth that was once a Ku Klux Klan auditorium, and we are transforming it into a vibrant cultural hub dedicated to arts, healing, and community. The Fred Rouse Center for Arts and Community Healing will be a multidisciplinary art and culture space, a place where history is acknowledged, but also where joy, creativity, and resilience are centered. It will host performances, exhibitions, workshops, and community programs designed for and by the communities who were historically targeted by hate, especially Black, Latinx, immigrant, and queer communities. For our queer community, this is about visibility, safety, and belonging. It will be a space that LGBTQ saves will call home, and where LGBTQ plus voices are celebrated, where youth can see themselves reflected and in the arts, and where chosen family can gather without fear. Research clearly and repeatedly shows that arts engagements promote healing, connection, and self-expression, things our community has always used to survive and thrive. This space will serve multiple communities, Black, brown neighbors, immigrants, artists, educators, and youth by offering opportunities to learn, create, heal, and lead together. And it doesn't stop there. It's not just about transforming a building, but about transforming systems of exclusion into systems of care and creativity. You can join us on this transformation in many ways. Follow us and amplify our message. Stay connected on social media at Transform 1012 to see updates and share our stories. Show up when you can, attend our events or volunteer at community events to bring the mission to life. And support, whether it's through a donation or connecting us with partners or simply spreading the word. Every bit of help moves us from a vision to reality. If you are able to give today, thank you. Transform 1012 is about reimagining a symbol to hate into a place of hope. Together, we can create a space that reflects the beauty and resilience of queer people and all marginalized communities. More information is on the table at the door with a link to our website. We invite you to walk with us in this transformation because this story belongs to us all. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. I'll let Sherry have the last word, but first wanted to thank all of our volunteers today who helped to make this event possible. If you're still here, gave us a wave. Thank you so much for collecting questions, doing the check-in. Really appreciate your help. This was many months of planning. Really also want to thank Nathan and the Health Center. Thank you for moderating. Thank you for letting us use this wonderful space. Thank you to the Justice Network of Tarrant County LGBTQ Action Team. If you're on the team,
stand up if you're on our team.
We want to recognize you.
Woo!
Thank you for your hard work. And yeah, just also, again, I want to really appreciate all of you for being here for this afternoon. Again, I know the news and the information can be heavy sometimes, but hopefully you can leave feeling more connected and more informed, and hopefully take something that you learned today and share it with someone else in your life. Make sure to scan the QR code or grab brochures and flyers from all the organizations that you heard about today and get connected, and maybe think about one other step you can take when you leave this space today. That was on purpose. I'm done.
And thank you to Rachel. To events, if you want more, there's more this week. They're really fun though. We had a really incredible informational, sometimes difficult, some conversations today. But coming up, if you want something a little bit lighter, make sure that you scan on the table the flyer. There's a QR code for Sabbath Queen. It is the movie that is going to be shown at the Modern Museum this coming Thursday, the 21st at 6 p.m., chronicling the 21-year journey of Rabbi Amichai Lau Levi, who comes from 38 generations of Orthodox rabbis, kind of broke away, is a rabbi, created his own synagogue, and yes, he's a drag queen as well. So it traces his journey and really just kind of how he holds all of these different parts of who he is and is in community, what it means to be gay and Jewish and all these things. So please come in. It's free. So just scan the QR code. And then on August 27th, join the LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce to their Pride Happy Hour and docent-led tour of the Badge of Pride exhibit in Irving. There is also a flyer on the table there. It's an incredible exhibit. Some of the people in this room have seen it already. And traces, again, the history of Pride. And so there is a QR code also for that. Please join us and sign up and come. And thank you all so much for being here today.
And thank you, Sherry.